when you guys began, excuse me, you guys didn't feel that you were the freestyle. You guys were, had heavily influenced by other genres. Why do you think that maybe a lot of us and other people have kind of, a lot of you, we'll get to, how your music has evolved, but, how you guys fell into kind of the genre that you're known for today? Is it because you guys gravitated towards that type of style, or was it just more?
No, I think it was because that guy in Holland did a remix of I Can't Wait, and he put that electronic thing on the front that we lovingly call the barking seal. And
that part.
Right.
Because we were just not club people, we were jazz hippies, and really New Shooz was all, originally the idea was just to do enough cover tunes so that we could play avant-garde jazz music, I don't know if any of your listeners know the album Birth of the Cool by Miles Davis.
Right, yeah.
It was arranged by Gil Evans, and that was the original model. And so when I Can't Wait became a huge hit in the clubs, it took us totally by surprise. And we went to the New York clubs and discovered that there was this whole world going on that we knew absolutely nothing about. People would show up there at, midnight and dance till 8 in the morning, and then on the way home they'd buy 12-inch singles and then sleep for a few hours and start the process all over, So we knew nothing about this, and we were not from that. We were from this. The other great thing about Portland was that there was a heavy emphasis on original music here.
At that time, there was a club that actually here called the Last Hurrah that actually required that you play, I think, 80% original music.
Yeah.
Which is unheard of usually for, not just for the West Coast dance clubs at the time. So that was also really a helpful thing because we were a terrible cover band. We tried to cover other people's music, and we did, okay with the Motown stuff because it was really fun to sing, but wow, we just never quite got it right.
Yeah, and I don't think our hearts were in it either.
Yeah, which
so it was great. It was great that the original thing was happening because we could sound like us usually.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So I think what's cool about hearing that is that a lot of people, maybe some of the listeners, or just with the way the music is today, is and if people start a band, they usually start a cover band, and yet it's either good or it's either bad. But they never find their own sound. You guys found your own sound based on what you like to play. Is that what I'm gathering?
Yes.
Yeah,
we were always kind of we couldn't help but do the things we were passionate about because we just, I don't know, couldn't just be journeyman sort of musicians and had a thing. And John, I have to say, had a lot of passion for songwriting too. He just loved and still does loves writing charts and hearing them, getting them played. That's his favorite part. The whole showbiz thing, that's like whatever. But creating new music and then hearing the band play it for the first time, I think I can safely say that's what you live for.
Yeah, I was trying to finish 2 songs a week in addition to everything else, and really follow our own path. Because so anyway, I think that a lot of the public perception of New Shooz is just based on I Can't Wait. We get so identified with that. It's like the song that ate the band. When really, we had to, when we went out on the freestyle tour starting 3 years ago, we had to look up freestyle on Wikipedia.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's how ignorant
True
we
story,
were.
yeah.
Yeah. We're like, what are we doing on this tour anyway? Oh, we get it. There's some Latin influence in our band. And we're grateful for that, actually, because we've gotten introduced to all these bands that some of whom we had listened to and knew of because they were also crossover artists, on these charts. Because we were on the dance, urban, R&B, pop charts, and so there was a lot of crossover thing going on. Like people like Expose and Lisa and Cult, Full Force and Cult Jam. We listened to those guys all the time. We were just huge fans. And so then all these other freestyle artists that are more East Coast from Miami and New York, they go back and forth.
Like the Cover Girls and stuff, you mean?
Yeah, no, and the Cover Girls had some pop crossover stuff too. Like TKA and some of the stuff that happened in the 90s we were really not aware of.
I miss the 90s.
We've been turned on to the whole thing ourselves, which is kind of fun in this time period of our lives.
So you just mentioned I Can't Wait as like the song that ate the band, but if somebody mentions that song with you guys, people automatically identify it. And I tend to kind of go along, like, people kind of identify you guys with that song.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is, like, with the resurgence, do you find the song, are you sick of the song is what I'm getting at? Or
No, absolutely not. I'm really proud of it. And there was an earlier version before the Dutch guy got a hold of it that's called the American Mix. And if you heard that, it's like a horn band tune. If you heard the American Mix, you would go, oh yeah, I get it. That's what they sounded like, And then this guy did a really brilliant, no, I'm not sick of it at all. And I think we're both proud of it, and I think that it still sounds current. It still thumps really hard next to everything else on the radio.
Right,
but it's just funny because people say, "Oh, we love your music." What they mostly mean is that they love "I Can't Wait." And
because that's the thing that penetrated the most into the
world,
public consciousness, because it was played so much. At that time period, it was like, wow. So, yeah, and but the cool thing about now, and I might be skipping ahead a little too fast here, but the cool thing about now is that if people find you and follow you and get your, you can do music and get it to people, whereas you couldn't before. I mean, when we did 3 records for Atlantic and the last one wasn't released, and there wasn't anything we could do about that, really.
Yeah.
I mean, and by the time that happened, we'd been making the record for 4 years and had written probably over 100 songs, most of which had been turned down. It gets pretty disheartening, so you just feel like in those days you didn't have direct contact with your audience, so you didn't know if there was anybody actually caring about what you were doing. And at that point in time, we just sort of went, this is not fun anymore. And if it's not fun, the music suffers. And so we went back to doing jazz, and John went into doing commercials and film and music, and we got to have a really great 25-year break.
Yeah, we raised the kid
and did all kinds of other styles of music that we love, and that was really good, really psychologically, emotionally good thing to do.
And Valerie's right about the internet thing now, because we have connected with fans who like to go deeper. They know what we're doing now. We're making a record right now that's really going back to the roots. It's like 1981 model New Shooz, but with better lyrics. And there's people that are really interested in that. So
it's fun.
It's a cool period of time.
It's actually how we met you.
Right.
I mean, we got connected on Twitter, which is
exactly
a wonderful thing.
It is. Well, too, and it was actually, I've been following you guys on Twitter and stuff for a couple of years now or so, probably back before, or maybe even before you guys joined the freestyle like tours. And I don't think a lot of people at that time on Twitter kind of knew you guys were on. Like, a lot of people don't know. I mean, you guys, they do now, but I mean, at the time, like, I'm very, like, a huge music fan, so I was always searching for finding out ways to follow people I'm a fan of. So I think it's cool that, like, people are finding you guys even now, before, like, they didn't even know you guys were on social media or anything like that. So it's cool.
That's what has really helped about doing the freestyle tours is that every city we go to, you know, there's publicity around the show that gets out there, and there's a radio station usually involved that plays the music, and then of course people, you know, thousands of people come to these shows and they see that we're out there again, and then they go, oh, I wonder if they're on Facebook or Twitter, and they come and hang out, and that has been really helpful
and fun.
Yeah,
it's a real fun part is the people connection.
Awesome. So you mentioned commercials, and I kind of wanted to get, so to kind of point back to what we spoke about a minute or two ago. So are you guys in charge of the Target commercial?
Say that again?
Like in terms of like I Can't Wait, like being part of the commercial, like did you, in terms of creating commercials, were you guys, John, like were you in